What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj NBA, and today we're going to be talking about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Last night it happened, and the most common thing that I have been hearing or looking at, or when I go on social media and I take a look at what people have to say, or what the media is saying, all I'm saying is Kevin Durant he's too much. The Warriors are just too much. They're too good. There's no everybody's writing the series off. People think that, the Warriors won that last game by 22 points. Game 1, it's over. Well, look, guys, I can't understand why people are just jumping to such a conclusion here. I mean, yes, obviously there's a chance that the Warriors just run away with it and they take it. But I don't think that chance deserves to be this high. I don't think that we should be like, they won by this much and so it's done. The series is over. Guys, don't forget that LeBron James is playing in this series. Don't forget that the Cleveland Cavaliers have faced tougher challenges than being down 1-0 in the NBA Finals. Look, I know they looked outmatched in that second half. I know that it got bad. It started okay, got worse until it was a blowout. And the biggest problem that I'm hearing is, look, how did the Cavs lose by 22 points if Klay Thompson went 3 for 16 and Draymond Green also shot 3 for 12 that game? How is it possible that things could get worse for the Warriors? Well, look, I think it's not really so much on the Warriors' shoulders as it is the Cavs. I don't think you can really rely on the Warriors being worse. In my opinion, the Warriors, I don't think they played amazing. I really didn't watch that game and say, the Warriors had a great game. It was really just the opposite. Yeah, the Warriors were getting to all the rebounds, but look, that was, it was an effort thing, I thought. I mean, the Cavs, first of all, they weren't focused. They turned the ball over 20 times. They were just careless. LeBron James had 8 turnovers himself, and he wasn't himself. And yes, you could look at the stat sheet and say, he had 29, 15, and 8, and then he has a good game, right? Because 29, 15, and 8 is just automatically a good game. Well, look, we have super high expectations for LeBron. I talked about it before the finals. If LeBron James has one game where, he does a little bit wrong, they're going to be all over him. If LeBron James has a 29, 15, 8 game, we're going to be all over him if he has 8 turnovers and they lose the game. And yeah, I know he could have played better. I know that when you watch the game, it's okay, LeBron, maybe he could have attacked more and, taken better care of the ball and thrown some better passes. I understand all that. But for me, it's just, this is the type of standard we're holding this guy to. And the problem with that is the fact that, look, if he's going to be out there doing all that, he needs help. If he's going to be relied on to score 35 and have 10 and 10 and then, be efficient and win and be a plus positive in the plus minus, look, I understand that he's LeBron, he's got to do a lot, but LeBron's got to get some help. Everybody needs help in the NBA. Now, obviously, there were some problems, okay? We know that, look, the Cavs had their problems with turnovers, rebounding. They didn't get shooting from their bench. They didn't get really any production from their bench at all. And not to mention, they gave up a ton of points in transition. They wouldn't guard Durant when he was coming down the lane. They really didn't guard Durant at all, really. And they let Curry score 28 points off of, really being a second option. I mean, so that's a problem. You let those guys dominate like that. And look, I get it. Maybe you got to let some guys shoot because you got to give them so much attention. But there's absolutely no way you should be giving Kevin Durant easy shots like that. It doesn't really make any sense with that protocol. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to shut those guys down and then, not worry about those other guys, right? So that's one thing, and that was actually an important thing. But I'm not going to be talking about their weaknesses that much. And because that was the reason they lost. I mean, they made a ton of mistakes. The Cavs were by far the more imperfect team in that game. But I really just want to address the fact that everybody's writing this team off. Look, I did say Warriors in 6. I'm still staying with Warriors in 6. But Cavs in 7 isn't totally out of question. And in fact, it's just as likely as it was before the series started, in my opinion. Because I did pick, the Warriors to win Game 1. And they won Game 1. And I did pick them to win by, 14? Okay, they won by 22. That's not that much more. Look, it's really just not that big of a deal because what I was saying, the Warriors are really good in Game 1s. LeBron James is not good in Game 1s in the finals. LeBron James he's 1 for 7 all time in NBA Finals Game 1s. The Warriors The only time they've lost a game 1 in the playoffs since they got good, since the 14-15 season, was against the Thunder last year. Every single other game 1, so now they're 11-1 in their last 12 game 1s in the playoffs. So that's just, food for thought. Now, we head into game 2. We're going to get some adjustments from Cleveland. Expect a much better game from LeBron James. And look, I'd be very surprised if Kevin Durant gets the same amount of wide open dunks and easy shots that he got last game. I would be very surprised if, Kevin Love doesn't get more involved, if Kyle Korver goes scoreless, if we don't see Tristan Thompson, at least make his presence felt on the offensive glass or somewhere, because that's really all Tristan Thompson does is, be a beast and make people acknowledge that he's going to dominate down low, crashing the boards and stuff. He's such a nuisance. He's so hard for teams to deal with, but the Warriors, they had no problem with him. So he has to show up and be there. For the Warriors, I just think the biggest problem is if for the Cavs, because I'm talking about the Cavs here because I'm rooting for a resurgence for the Cavs so we can get a good series here. So we're just going to be talking about, how the Cavs can get better. But what you do have to worry about is the fact that Klay Thompson, he goes 3 for 16 last game. Yes, he was amazing on defense. I did note that, but you can't rely on him to be 3 for 16 every game. Even though he has been struggling in the playoffs, do you really think he's going to stay shooting that poorly? I seriously doubt it. But I do think the Warriors played an above average game. I think the Cavs played a far below average game. And, I don't think that really is going to be how it is throughout the series. Plus, it was game 1, like I said, on the Warriors' home floor. They were supposed to win that game. I don't put that much stock into that game. And Cleveland, they always make these adjustments. LeBron, he always comes back. Like I said, before last game, LeBron James is like the best player ever when it comes to bouncing back, going against the odds, getting revenge, redeeming himself, whatever. He's so good at that. There's no way that he's going to come out and be worse than he was in game 1. I don't think, because I think we're going to see a much more motivated LeBron James in game 2. So my prediction did include the Cavs winning game 2, and I'm going to stand by that. I don't see any reason to change that. A lot of people are saying a Warriors sweep. I'd be very surprised if that happens. I wouldn't be super shell-shocked because I know it's a possibility. But because if the Warriors get up 3-0, I think they could probably finish them off or in 5 or whatever. But that's off topic. Game 2, a lot of people are going to say they think the Warriors are going to win, especially because they're still at home. They're riding that momentum. And they just look better so far. You can't deny that. I'm going to go with the Cavs. Look, I just think LeBron James is going to come out with an inspired performance. We're going to get some better support for him. I think the bench, I think Kyle Korver can hit 3+3s in one of these games. I think we can get something out of Darren Williams. Tristan Thompson can maybe impose himself a little bit more than he did. And Kevin Love can get more shots as well. So, a lot of things went wrong for Cleveland in that game 1, but they've been nearly perfect throughout the playoffs. I don't expect them to be, that bad team that we saw last night. They played really bad. They really did. When you think about it, who played good? I can't believe that we're seeing people out here saying, oh, LeBron had a bad game. Well, LeBron didn't have a bad game. He just didn't do what he usually does in terms of getting people involved and imposing himself and being better than the other guy, which was Kevin Durant in this game. But who played well for the Cavs? Kyrie Irving didn't really do anything. I know he put up a bunch of points, but he was tired on defense. Okay, he wasn't really doing a lot there. And yeah, I know that he had a lot of circus finishes. He was able to get inside and get some layups. He had that 4-point play, which is pretty cool. But, when he was ball handling, he didn't really seem like he was moving and trying to break guys down with that same type of confidence. His contested shots weren't falling like they, he'd make a few of those, but he missed pretty much all of those, unless he was in the lane. Or, he hit that crazy 3, like I said. But that's not really, that doesn't really count. I'm talking about when he sizes somebody up and then shoots one of those 2s in somebody's face. He can make those. He didn't. But look, I would say Kyrie played okay. I'd say LeBron played okay. Kevin Love didn't do that much for me, especially because he didn't really get the rebounds that they needed. Tristan Thompson, really, I didn't see a lot of him at all. He didn't really do anything for me in this game. J.R. Smith, same thing. He hit the first 3 of the game, but then after that, he wasn't really there. He was pretty non-existent in the game. And then off the bench, I mean, Richard Jefferson, they did get some shots from him. I mean, he wasn't bad, but if Richard Jefferson's the only guy that had like a pretty good game, then that's going to be a huge problem. Darren Williams and Kyle Korver, they did not a lot given from them. And I just think it's tough for the Cavs in that game, just because, you know, I don't think they were really ready. But they will be ready for game 2, and I think they're going to win game 2. So that's my thing. I don't think it's a big deal they lost game 1. You know, they always do this. LeBron always does this. This is fine. If they lose game 2, then yeah, it becomes a much bigger problem. You can start talking about, you know, Warriors in 5 or maybe even 4. I wouldn't go there yet, because I think that the Cavs are guaranteed to get a game at home. But we'll see. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Comment what you think about this series. Is it over? How many games are the Warriors going to win in? Are the Cavs going to upset, and how many games are they winning? Let me know what you guys think of this video, of the series. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.